All right, so we're going to work today on shoulders, relaxing shoulders. And we're going to start a minute, as usual, on our backs, just to get the upper back relaxed a little bit, which is actually has a lot to do with the shoulders. Believe it or not, just go ahead and start foam rolling on your thoracic area, that area between your last rib and then where your neck meets your shoulders. Okay, good. Okay. All right, so we're going to be working on relaxing the shoulders today. So when you say shoulders, that actually encompasses a lot of different areas. But one of the most, when people say my shoulders feel really tight, a lot of times kind of what that means is that area between your ear and where your shoulder is, like your arm meets your torso there. So that's the upper trap muscle. We're going to really focus on that because that just is a common area that stress collects and it just often needs relaxing. But we're going to focus on, as usual, muscles that aren't directly the upper trap, just to kind of get a whole picture of what we can do to relax that upper trap area. So let me show you a picture here. The first muscle we're going to work on is kind of the rear deltoid area and the shoulder, and we'll be foam rolling that to begin with today. So that is this picture on the left where I have drawn this big black circle. So the deltoid is that muscle that kind of makes your shoulder have that rounded appearance, and we're going to be working on the rear part of it there where you can see that black circle. So let me just show you what that's going to look like. We're going to be lying on the ground and having it in this position here. So it's going to be kind of in line with that upper arm. So let's try with the left arm first. So I'm going to lie on your back and you're going to have, and so think about that area in the picture that was circled. So that is mostly your shoulder and not much on the shoulder blade, more off to the side in the arm. So once you get that belly of the muscle there, and you may feel like you want a pillow here too to support your head, you're just going to raise up and down on the arm. So reach up towards the top of the mat and then pull back down a little bit. So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to show you how to get into what you may like even more with this, which is a side lying position. So for that, you're going to be on your side, still focused. And now I showed you the first version because this may feel like too much pressure to some of you, but on the side lying position, you're still focused on that muscle and you are just rolling up and down like an inch or so on that rear deltoid muscle. So like I said, if this feels like just a lot of pressure and too much, too uncomfortable, go ahead to the version of just lying on your back, maybe with a pillow under your head and kind of just pushing the arm back and forth over that foam roller. So this muscle and these muscles in here, when they get tight, can really affect that upper trap shoulder area where we're going to be focusing on. And just for those of you who are not like anatomy friendly, these are your upper traps here. I didn't tell you that, but those are the muscles that often get tight with these muscles. And we're going to work directly into those momentarily, but let's switch to the right side for that deltoid now. So you're going to get that underneath of your shoulder on the right side. And you can do this either, like I said, lying on your back, or if you're comfortable lying on your side, pushing back and forth over that rear deltoid muscle. It's not just the rear deltoid too. There's a lot of layers of muscle in here. You're actually getting into some of your rotator cuff muscles too by working here. And those I have found on a lot of clients, releasing those have done wonders in getting the shoulders to relax. So you're hitting a few different things here by working in this region. All right, so just a few more seconds and then I'm gonna show you a really nice stretch that I think you'll like for this area using your chair. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is head to the chair and you're gonna be on your knees kind of in front of the chair. If you need pillows under your knees for support, that's fine. But what we're gonna do is place our elbows on the chair and then just kind of reach and let your head drop between your arms like this. And what this is doing, you wanna scoot so you're about a foot or so from the chair. Your knees are about a foot or so from the chair and your elbows are just kind of on the edge of the chair. But what you should feel with this is a great stretch pull through the shoulders where we just worked through the whole deltoid region really. And this is a really nice way to get some tension relief in the shoulders. So we're gonna hang out here. We're just gonna hang out and really take a couple deep breaths. Just relax, let your chin sink into your chest. I find it's easiest to kind of just loosely clasp your hands together if you're not sure what to do with your hands here. But we're just feeling the shoulders loosen up now with each deep breath. Take another deep breath. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to show you next is probably one of my favorite moves all time. I do this very frequently myself. We're going to use that same chair position, but I am going to show you a picture again so you can just kind of have an idea in your head of where to be working on. So we're actually going to do a little self-massage in that upper trap region. So now we're taking a look at this picture on the right where I have conveniently drawn sandwiches for you. I will explain. So the actual muscle that you're seeing there, that whole area is your trapezius, your upper trapezius, your middle, and your lower. But right now we're going to focus on that area I've been talking about the whole time, the upper, where the sandwiches are. Those are the spots you're going to work on. You're going to find spots probably half an inch from each other all along that area, taking from the edge of your shoulder all the way up kind of towards your neck. So just keep in mind, sandwiches. All right. So we are going to have a sandwich grip, right? That's why I told you about that. So how you hold a sandwich, right? You got thumb under one and you've got your fingers on the top eating your favorite cheeseburger or whatever. So we're going to be working along those sandwich spots. But the beauty of the chair position, I want you, and I can see some of you doing it already right now, just to kind of feel that upper trap area. It's probably tight on a lot of you. And I want you to feel how feeling it in this position versus feeling it when we're in this chair position is so much different. The muscle just really loosens up once you've gotten. So we're kind of assuming that same stretch position here. And now what I want you to do is reach your right hand over to your left shoulder and feel that same sandwich grip that we were doing when we were standing up into that upper trap muscle. Do you feel how much looser that is and how much more accessible that is just from changing the position of your arm? And that's why we're in this position here. And so what I would like you to do is just gentle, comfortable little sandwich squeezes along that upper trap muscle. Likely you'll find some areas that are more tender than others, and you are free to hang out there as long as you want. A lot of times if you hold for a minute or so on one spot, it'll start to release and you'll feel like that tension is going away. If you don't really have a specific spot, just kind of do little circles with your thumb and fingers, still keeping that sandwich grip along the length of that upper trap. And this is a really quick way to release directly shoulder tension. It's one of those things where if you only do one thing from our class today, this is it. This is going to be a quick release for you. I often even do this at night before I go to bed. I'll use the edge of my bed and kind of just put my hands up on it, my arms up on it, so I can get this upper trap muscle in a nice relaxed position. And it really works. You can even just rest your head on your forearm too, whatever always feels most relaxing to you. So we're still working into that upper trap on the left side. We'll switch sides in just a second here. Well, remember to take those deep breaths. It can be sensitive, but again, you're monitoring your own comfort and with the pressure level here. So just be doing what feels right to you. Okay, let's switch sides. So now you're going to take your other hand, left hand onto your right upper trap, still keeping that sandwich grip. You can rest your head on your forearm if that feels good to you, and you're just moving along, maybe finding a tender spot and hanging out there, or just kind of working in circles, moving left to right along that upper trap region. And like I said, with this is I'm always teaching you things that might be helpful for someone else, a significant other, you know. So if you've got somebody who needs a little shoulder squeeze here, give them like a throw pillow to put on a dining room table or something, have them lean over, put their arms up in this position, and you'll get right into that shoulder muscle much better than if their arm is down at their side. Tips and tricks on a Thursday morning rather. Here we go. Oh, this feels good. Let's hang out here for just a few more seconds before we move on. A couple deep breaths. Right from the upright rows today, some of you might be feeling a little tight in this area. So this is very relevant to what we just did. Okay. All right. So there are many ways we can stretch that upper trap. We've done it seated in a chair before, but we're going to stretch that area that we were just working on. We're going to do this actually lying on our backs on the mat, but I want to show you just kind of standing up what it'll look like. So you're going to take whatever stretching strap you have and loop it around your foot. And then you're going to grab kind of down towards your knee. And then what we're going to do is just kind of arch ourselves over like this. But always into making this as relaxing as possible. Let's just lie down, take a minute. You're going to want at least one, possibly two pillows under your neck for this one. And I'll tell you why here. So let's start, doesn't matter what leg we start on, but let's grab down towards the knee. And then you're taking your ears and putting it in the opposite direction. So if you've got the band on your left leg, you take your head to the right. If you got the band on your right leg, you take the head to the left. And you'll notice the more that your chin is lifted in towards your chest, the more the stretch ends up being in that back of the neck area. So that's why I suggest really propping up your head with probably a couple pillows here, or doubling up one pillow. And with that position, you're really going to feel a nice stretch through the side of your neck into that trap area. If you just have your neck flat, it'll give you a stretch, but it'll be more in the front of your neck. So we're just kind of positioning ourselves to get the best upper trap stretch here. And also, because we're using this hold on the strap, we do end up getting a nice stretch in the shoulder as well, down in through the top of the arm a little bit. If you're not feeling much of a stretch, just try gripping the strap a little closer down to closer to your ankle. But you're tilting your head in the opposite direction that you're holding, of the side that you're holding onto the strap, and just kind of hanging out there, enjoying that stretch sensation. Okay, now we're going to take other side. So you're going to put the strap around your other foot, grab with your other hand, and you are tilting your head to the other side. Couple deep breaths here. I want you to think about that picture I showed you with the sandwiches. So we were working into that upper trap, that massage technique I showed you. But if you remember, that muscle, the trapezius muscle, you saw it kind of go like halfway down the back, right in between the shoulder blades. It's all connected. So we're going to work on that other part of the trapezius muscle next. So below the area where we were doing the sandwich grip. So what we're going to do next is get the foam roller and kind of work segmentally down that part of the spine. This is similar to how we kind of warm up each time, because we're going to be taking that foam roller perpendicular to the spine. But instead of just rolling up and down, we're going to stay, and I want you to envision working kind of one vertebrae at a time. So we're going to be staying on one spot and then kind of arching back and forth over the foam roller. So you're going to go up as far as you comfortably can go up, not on the neck. You want to stay below the neck. Really making sure you're cradling your head in your hands, because your neck should feel nice and relaxed here. Just kind of a little hand hammock for your head, if you will. So you're going to start and then just kind of arch your head back, let it drop towards the mat, and then bring your chin in towards your chest as far as you can. So what this is doing, it's working those trapezius muscles that are below the area where we worked the sandwich grip, but also really making sure that you've got good mobility in your spine. This is just kind of helping loosening everything up in this area, which all relates to relaxing the shoulders. So I'm gonna have you move down just a section here. Like I said, envision kind of just working the level of one vertebrae at a time and dropping your head to the mat, resting for just a second, and then bringing your chin to your chest for just a second. You don't want to feel like your neck is doing any work here. So like I said, just kind of cradle your head in your hands as we work back and forth here. And move it down just another little bit here. Vision working down just one little vertebrae at a time. Head to the back of the mat, back of the head to the mat, and chin in towards your chest. And let's move down just another little bit here. Right. So we're doing this segmentally down the spine until you've reached about where you feel like your shoulder blades, the bottom of your shoulder blades are. Once you feel like you're off of your shoulder blades, that's when you don't need to go any further down the back. Then you can kind of start working your way back up the back as you drop your head towards the mat and bring your chin in towards your chest. And as always, maybe some of you are finding a particular spot that just feels like it's really necessary, and you just go to the beat of your own drum, stick around that spot and work into what feels good to you this morning. So we're going to stay doing this for a few more seconds. The next thing that we will move into is something that you can do to kind of mobilize and stretch this area. It's just a nice thing to do if you're feeling tight in your upper back and shoulders, to get things limbered up a little bit. And it will be moves that are familiar to all of you, I think. Okay, so we're gonna do next cat camel to child's pose. So cat camel, you're starting on all fours, and then you're making a camel shape with your back. So you're really kind of trying to tuck your tailbone in and then tuck your chin into your chest, making a hump in your back. And then you're doing the exact opposite, making a little cat shape, right? Like fluffy. Really trying to stick your tail up and arch your back like this. So we're going to go back and forth between those two. And then we're going to start adding in a child's pose. So just another way to get more length and stretching through the upper and lower back. So what I'd like you to do is go into one cat and one camel, and then take those knees wide to the edge of the mat and sink back, crawl those fingertips forward, reach, and just enjoy the way that feels through your shoulders and your upper back. That is a nice stretch there. So that is what we're going to hold for a few seconds here before we go back into cat camel. All right, and now let's go into a few cat camel. Make your back rounded, and then do your best cat arch of your back. Really important, especially with the camel part of this, to really tuck your chin into your chest. That helps that upper back area really get a nice stretch that we've been working on. And go into your cat. Now let's take it back to the child's pose. Really actively climbing those fingertips away from your body as much as you can. That gives you a good stretch for the shoulders and upper back. And cat camel here again. Taking some deep breaths here. And let's hang out one more time in that child's pose. So separate those knees a little bit, sink your heel in towards your butt, and crawl those fingertips away from you. Several versions of child's pose you can do. Sometimes I like to do the one where I'm just resting my forearms on the mat and resting my forehead on the mat. That feels very restorative and good. But I do, for what we're doing today, like the version where your forehead is a little bit off the mat and you're just, your forearms are off the mat and you're crawling your fingertips away from you. And what you get out of doing it that way, as you can feel, is just a little bit better stretching through the shoulders and the upper back, which is what we're going for today. Relaxing the shoulders. Let's take a couple deep breaths here. Okay. All right. That was wonderful. Thanks everyone for joining me this morning for this. Saturday morning at 9:30, we're going to be getting together for wrist and hand strategies. I'm just going to give you a brief heads up. I am getting my second COVID vaccine tomorrow morning. So I'm going to assume everything's going to be fine, but I'll send out an email if I'm like literally down for the count, but hoping for the best. So I will see you then. Okay.